well, I haven't worked on this 5240 since we got it. I can't remember when that was, May or June. Anyways, decided to pull the points cover off. Just clean the points for a second, and it has some spark. Spark's hard to see on camera. Let's see if we can give it a pull and see what happens. See that? It had spark. Yeah, cool. Let's get some carb cleaner and spray it in the spark plug hole and see if we can get the fire off for a second. You know, this carburetor is all frozen. It's got this remote air cleaner on here. I'm gonna take this remote air cleaner off if I can. I can't get the screwdriver in these screws though. Ay. I guess I need a smaller screwdriver, I think. That's not cool. It looks like the screws are bent. Let me see if I can force it in here and unbend them. I guess I need a smaller screwdriver. Be right back. I'm gonna spray some carb cleaner into this little carb here. And give it a nice big squirt. I go straight in, not sideways. All right, let's see if we can give it a pull and see what happens. Maybe it's a really hard pull with the spark plug in. Ooh, it's blowing out. It's got too much probably. Let's see. This little pin is not, ow, that hurt. Not ideal.
What's going on?
Alright, of course I turned off the camera and pulled it twice and it started and it shot rust dust everywhere. Let's see if we can get it to fire again. Awesome. All right, we gotta take the carb off. It's all totally stuck, and we gotta soak this in the carb dunk tank. But it's gonna run. It's gonna run. Right, we took the carburetor off, and this carb is totally frozen. I can't move the choke. I can't move the throttle. It's a newer carb because it has the breather tube that goes down to the valve cover. So it's probably a Walbro. I don't see any markings on it. There's something over here, but I can't see what it says. Let me hit it with my wire brush and maybe we can read it. Let's see. I can't really read that. I think it's a number. 47801 if I zoom in, I think. So anyways, I think these kind of Walbros that have this emissions control on the top, I can't get the nut off the bowl, so I'm just going to put this whole thing in the dunk tank as is. Let's see if we can find that. And then you can see the port here, the intake port is a little rusty, so we'll have to clean that out also. But this is good news. This can of gunk carb cleaner here, it's pretty old. My other can rusted out on the bottom and leaked in the garage recently. This doesn't feel too full. Let me see what's going to be in here. It's been a long time since I've used this, but I have 2 carbs right now that need this. Let's see. Oh, dude, it's only half full. Only half full. Well, let's see if it's enough to get that in there. All right, well, half full is better than nothing. Well, it's almost totally in there. Let's see. Give it a little shaky baby. Alright, well, we'll leave it like that and we'll come back later and flip it, I guess. I just put a piece of tape over the intake here while we're going to let that carb soak. Is a little rusted out down here. We're just going to let this sit for an hour or two and then we'll flip it over. And yeah, this can's pretty old. It has to be 10 or 15 years old, so it doesn't surprise me that it's leaking, you know? Cool. Right, we took the air cleaner off and it does have a little surface rust on it here. I think this would be a really good candidate for electrolysis if we do want to continue to use this air filter. Otherwise, we might convert it back to a normal one, but I think it's kind of cool having this remote kit on here. I don't have any tractors with a remote air filter. I'm just sticking this together so we don't lose these parts. But, you know, the hose is shot, as I've said before. So we're going to need a new hose. I don't know what all this is going to cost us to fix. But if it's not really a cheap thing, we're not going to do it. You know? All right, let's see here. This car's been here a little over 2 hours. Let's see if we can open this can up and see what we got in here. Oof. Let's see. Pull out our little basket here. Get it back. All right, well, I tried to move it. It's still totally frozen, so this is going to be a all-nighter here, if not more. So let me just put this lid back on. I'm going to put this on the ground so it's not on top of this garbage can, and we'll check back tomorrow night. All right, we're going to pull this thing out of this basket here. It's been in there for 24 hours now. Let it drain for a minute. All full of junk in that basket. The stuff doesn't even want to go through the holes. There's so much junk in there. All right, let's take it out. All right, so I was able to take these pliers, hook them on the throttle shaft, and it freed up. And I did the same thing on the choke shaft, and I got that freed up. So we're going in the right direction here. Now I got to see if I can get this nut off the bowl. That's going to be the hard part. All right, so I heated this up with the torch for a minute, twice, and I put the carburetor in the vise, which is a risky move, and I was able to get that thing loose. Let's see what we got in here. Oh, that bowl's not too bad. It's just that it's dented. Got some really nice looking junk coming out of here. The float's stuck. We can unstuck that easy enough. Question is this thing totally trashed so much that something's broken beyond repair? It doesn't look that bad. I got to see if I can get the float pin out. The float itself looks good. Man, there's some nasty junk that was in here. Whew. All right, let me see if I can pull that float pin out. Well, I got the float pin out and the gasket off there. Now what I notice is that this is actually missing a gasket. It has this anti-slosh valve gasket on there that would go here, but it's missing the actual gasket that goes in this little ring here. Now let's see if we can get this needle out. There we go. The needle looks fine. Still has the nice rubber tip on it and everything, so we should be good with that. So I'm going to just clean this out some more. I may just put this carb back in the dunk tank. The two high and low speed jet needles came right out, and the idle screw turns, so we're good with that. And like I said before, the float looks pretty good. It's a little rusty on the tab up here, but I think that will clean up good. I think I'm going to put this back in the dunk tank now that the bowl's off and all the needles are out, and just let it sit a little longer. Let's do that. All right, so I took the carburetor out of the dunk tank. It's been in there another 24 hours. Everything's freed up good. I cleaned it out with some compressed air and some spray carb cleaner. The float has a little bit of rust on it over here, but I'm gonna go with it. And the bowl has a flat spot over here, but when you put it on there, it all mates properly with this surface. I don't have another new anti-slosh float gasket here, so I'm going to reuse this one. I do have a brand new gasket that goes in here, which was missing. Oh, I got to put the needle in too, but I'm going to put it back together and see what happens. All right, so I got my aftermarket gasket in there, which was really tough to do. It didn't fit very well. Now we'll put this float valve gasket in. the needles in there, so now we just got to put the float in and the pin, and then we'll check to make sure the float's level. Then we'll put the bowl on. Not so bad. All right, I got it back together. Now on the jets, the factory setting is 1 1/4 on the high speed, on the low speed, and 2 on the high speed. All right, so I had put a piece of tape over the intake while we were sitting around. Oh, I forgot, we got to clean this intake. There's a lot of rust in there. So let's see if we can clean that. But after that, we're going to bolt the carb on there. The linkage here goes in the hole that's closest to my finger out of the 3 holes there. Now let me just clean up that intake a little bit, and then we'll bolt the carb on. Well, I put some gas in the tank, but evidently there's a hole in it. Oh my God, that's not good. This is dumb. All right, I took this plastic container out of the recycling bin, which is right next to where we're working here. And luckily I only put gas in it for a second. But anyways, this tank's shot ski. Oh, how annoying is that, huh? Oh my God. Dopes. Well, while the gas is draining, I think it's done. The little piece of gas line between the fuel pump and the carburetor is hard as a rock. So I just cut that out, and I just cut a new piece of gas line here. So we'll assemble this on there, see what happens. All right, so you know, the gas tank shot. I got this all reassembled, and I got our new line on down here. All right, so there might be a little bit. See what happens if I give it a little squirt of ether here and put the choke on. Yeah, it's still gonna run. We can't go any farther without having a fuel system, so I guess our next order of business is to take this rusty tank off. Maybe I can put the camera on the bottom here and we can see how bad it is. It's probably like totally gone based on how the outside looks here. But yeah, maybe we'll dissect this thing and solder it up again.